Well, thanks, Cam. And first of all, let's just start out by asking where everybody's from. I always get fascinated when I look at the number of people that show up for a webinar and how trading has expanded around the globe. And you start seeing things, you go, wow, Netherlands, that's super. Sweden, Florida, that's close by. Australia. Oh, here's a map of it. They're going to show a map. It's pretty neat. San Jose. Anyway, I find it interesting when people type in, and they say, "Hey, I'm from Seattle," or "I'm from New York." How trading has really grown throughout the world, and it's pretty interesting when you look at those dots on there, and you start seeing people and places. Africa, wow. Madrid. I lived in Madrid back in the 70s. What a fun time. Hey, Mo. Can everybody see the map? Pretty neat. Well, let's get started then. First of all, as a trader, a lot of the programs today offer simulated accounts, and I've seen people run up big balances in simulated accounts, and then they actually put $1 at risk and they blow up. Uh, I think there's nothing like taking your analysis and putting it to test in a real market and with real money. And that's why years ago, when I first traded live, it was down in Orlando, Florida at the Money Show. And I remember there was a line about a mile long. No one had done it up to that time. And, to get in this room that we had. And I know that as we were down there, it was exciting and scary at the same time because you got one shot in a limited period to find a trade that might pay you, and we were able to do that. And I remember the market that day was pretty slow, but I still remember that first time I did it. And so our thing at DTI is that we trade live. We trade live because we believe that trading live allows you to really learn. And it doesn't really matter about the size of the account, but really about the fact it is real money in a real market. Now, if you study what we teach, we do all our setups based on a worst loss anticipated of $300. And that's $300 for every trade idea. So if we're trading a stock, or we're trading an option, or we're trading a futures, we have maximum exposure per contract, and that contract is $300. So if it was an option contract, it'd be $5 down to 2. If it's a stock, it'd be 10 down to 7, and that's the way it works. So that's what we do when we trade live. Now, a little bit about my background. I'm the CEO of DTI, Diversified Trading Institute. Started this company in 1996, and one of my claims to fame is I had a Globex terminal in the early days. And if you don't know what Globex is, that's what created the night 24-hour market that you see today is the Globex terminal. I had one of 50 terminals, and that terminal was located right here in Mobile, Alabama. And I used to tell people, I've got the only Globex machine from Boca Raton, Florida to Houston, Texas. And I did learn how the 24-hour market worked. Today, one of the things I'm going to give you is the strategy that I use to trade the European market, which is early in the morning. It's called the German DAX. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. Who here is familiar with the DAX market itself, the actual DAX market? Okay. Well, if you study the DAX, you could have saw today that the DAX was falling out of bed, and that's what brought our market down. And then the DAX stabilized, our market stabilized too. And it's one of my favorite markets too, Gordon. I love trading it. I actually traded it today. Now, before we get started, we have an app, and this app's pretty good. It's pretty easy to operate. The only thing that I would have on a phone would be easy, but it's called the DTI Trader. It's located in the Apple Store, in the App Store. Just search DTI Trader, and the Android Play Store. A couple things would make you want to download. Let me tell you what they are. Number one, almost daily we put out market insights. Have y'all seen coffee today? Have y'all seen coffee today? We put out an insight yesterday about coffee, and coffees fell out of bed today. It made new lows. We put insights out about the different markets that help you trade those markets with the seasonals and things that happen. We also have that center button there allows you to see our software that we designed to understand the current trends in the market, and you can see what a lot of people know DTI for is our 7-11 rule, which is these short-term swings that happen over the course of the trade day, and you can get that through the app. And then finally, when we have in presentation something that we'll notify you, say, hey, we're going to be talking about managing your risk or pivot numbers, those kind of things. You get notice of that through the app. Any case? Okay? So we'll put that out there for you to look at. The other thing that I did, and a lot of times I talk to people a lot about, how I do what I do, and, we're all here to learn how to make money. And as a trader, you're constantly trying to figure out better ways, more efficient ways to make money. And so what I did is I put together a very short tape on the steps to making money. I cover the emotions involved in it, and that's very important. I cover having a plan, which is important, and then developing a process. I'm going to show you today a process for making money. The process for making money has to be simple, and it has to have a foundation in not risking very much money. And that's what's the value to a small account. 5 steps to making money. And of course, the other review of that process and the discipline to carry it out. And also, I've enclosed an audio copy of my book, Winning the Day Trading Game. And this book tells you how I got into trading and some of the things I used back then and I still use today. Talks about all the markets and the steps to setting up that process. So you can get that if you fill out that survey. It takes you about 2 minutes to do it, just some simple questions, who you are and what your goals are. That's the survey. Now, let's talk about Nadex. What is Nadex? Nadex is a North American Derivatives Exchange. It's controlled and registered by the CFTC, Commodity Futures Trading Commission. They're a contract maker, and they're a clearing organization. The contracts inside the Nadex platform are designed for you, the retail trader. There's a low cost of entry. There's risk that's limited. If I told you that you could risk $50 on an analytical analysis, and that would be the maximum loss, it would give you a chance to check that analysis out, which would allow you to either win or lose. And I'll talk about that. But anyway, if you're not familiar with Nadex, you ought to get familiar with it. And Nadex.com, there's a lot of great videos there. I've asked Cam to come on after I talk and give you some instruction on the actual platform itself, because what I designed today actually extends to tomorrow. And that brings in the live trading portion. Today is who's interested and how do you get involved, and tomorrow is actually seeing it work. So let's go through how I trade Nadex. All right, a couple ways to trade Nadex. If you don't know what a binary option is, they're limited risk contracts based on a simple yes or no. For example, do I think the S&P is going to be higher at the close of business today than 2101? Okay, so if I do think that, then I would say yes, and I would bet the current market for that, which would be about $50. Okay, and then I would get paid 100 if I was right. Simple yes or no. Or do I think it's going to be lower than 2101? You do it S&P, you do it for currencies, you can do it for gold, you can do it for a lot of different markets, crude market, different things, binary options. A simple way to play. Here's my analysis. This is what I think. If you think yes, you buy the binary option. If you think no, you sell it. That's simple. And here's the example they gave you. For example, gold's greater than 1625 at 130. It's priced at 42.50. The first figure is the bid price. The second price is the sell price. And then the bid offer fluctuates through the day. If the answer is yes or zero, or if the answer is no, your profit loss is calculated using the difference, all minus $1 or $100. That's what the ticket looks like. And the neat thing about the Nadex tickets, once you put the trade in there, it tells you down there at the very bottom your max loss and your max profit on the trade. And all you do is hit the place. Now here's something else that's sort of neat about Nadex. They have a mobile application that you can carry around with you to do these trades without being on a computer, which is great, okay? That's pretty cool. Now, a bull spread is another way to do it, but it has a built-in floor and a built-in ceiling. I like to use a bull spread when I have a trending market and I want to take advantage of that. It gives me my maximum potential loss and profit from the outset. They're short-term contracts settled based on the underlying market. I like to use bull spreads and bear spreads for the DAX. That's why I mentioned it earlier. Here's what a bull spread is. This is on currency, and it tells you how it works. I'll give you a chance to read that. But the neat thing about it, here's the neat thing about it, is you can pull up the order ticket and you can look down at the bottom and you see where the max loss and the max profit is identified depending on whether you take a, in this case, a buy, and it reverses if you take a sell. So it's very simple to understand your exposure right from the get-go. That's on a bull spread. Let's talk about two trade setups. This is where it gets interesting. I have developed two trade setups that are highly profitable. So pull out your pencil and pay attention. The first one's on the DAX. The DAX market trades from 1 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's Central Time. Okay? The time that we focus on is 6 a.m. Central Time. 6 a.m. Central Time. That is a time that I learned about where the DAX pivots for the day, and it's 6 a.m. So you take that pivotal time, and the only thing you need is the pivotal price to set up this trade. Okay? So the trade is actually conducted at pretty decent hours, 7:30. So you get the numbers at 6, you trade it at 7:30, and I use a bull or bear spread to do this. Let's talk about that. So today, if you saw that the pivot number today was there, okay, and the market deviated down, and in this case by more than 20 DAX points. 20 is the spring number, okay? Then you would have did a bear spread today, okay? Now, if you had done a bear spread today, you could have set that up with about a $50 risk and about a $300 gain off this simple trade. That was what was offered to you this morning at 7:30 a.m. And the order ticket would have said that you're playing the market down. Here's your risk. Here's your reward. Pretty cool. And this is a trade that I do by following the DAX at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I do it through Nadex, okay? So you'd buy the spread. And I'm going to get Cam to come back and show you the actual mechanics of putting an order in. I want you to understand from me the value proposition, which is the strategy, okay? The DAX data is provided to you through Nadex's platform, Bruce. Pretty cool stuff. All right, that's one trade that I think that a lot of you ought to see and then see it in real time. And you can do that tomorrow, okay, when I do the actual trade. And I will do it tomorrow. Let's go back. All right, the next trade I do is on a binary option. By the way, Rick, you bring up a very good point. What I like to do is use limit orders, and I can show you techniques to get those orders filled, okay? At the end of the contract, the right and wrong is how you get paid, okay? Now, the seasonal trade is very simple also. Who has a Trader's Almanac? Inside the Trader's Almanac, they have projected estimations of what each day should be. Today was projected to be a down day, okay? And with the DAX reading lower, you could have sold the Dow at 8:30 this morning and you would have made money, okay, in real time. Absolutely. Here's what it looks like from the almanac. Now, this is going into tomorrow. Everybody see that? Tomorrow is what I do is select either the highest or lowest, and I trade the Dow on a daily binary at that date. So tomorrow, I'll be looking for entry around 8:30, and I'll do the setup based on the projection. Now, there's a couple things I'll get into tomorrow that's proprietary that show you how to set this up, but the idea is I'd be looking for the market to be higher tomorrow for you to be able to make money on the binary option, okay? That's on the binary. So there's two trades I gave you. Most of these two trades can be set up with about a $50 risk. With the bull spread and bear spread, it's usually around 5-to-1. With the binary option, it's usually 1-to-1 or better with the binary option. Risk versus reward. But no more than $50 a bet per contract, okay? That's how we do it, okay? So, let me tell you what I got set up for you, okay? I'm on Central Time, Peter. So here's what I got set up. And this is going to be the fun thing about me doing this presentation today. I'm going to do a live demonstration of these two setups on Wednesday at 7:30, okay? So, I'm going to trade live. Now, if you'd like to participate with me in the live presentation and see me do these two setups and get into some of the details of how they set up, then I'm extending an invitation for you to do that. So open a Nadex account, okay, and you go to open a new account at tradingpub.com/Nadex, and you can open a demo account and do the same thing. But after you open an account, send an email to me at t.busby99@gmail. What I will do, if you send that to me, and I don't see your name tomorrow, I will wait until we find you to be there. at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to do 2 trades. I'm going to do live real money tomorrow. My total exposure, the size of the money I'll be using will be $100 per contract total. I'll allocate 50 on the bull spread or bear spread and 50 on the binary. And my goal will be able to have a coordinated return of 6 to 1. That's what I will do tomorrow. So if I put up 100, my goal will be able to try to make $600 with the strategy tomorrow. Okay? And I'll do that for you tomorrow. All you have to do, open that account. And now what we're going to do next, I'll give you about 5 minutes to give everybody a chance, make sure I get an email from you. What we'll do is I'll let Cam come on here, and he'll take you inside the Nadex platform and demonstrate how easy it is, what I just talked about. What you need to do is learn how to execute these strategies, and all you have to do is tune in. Now, even if you open an account, we'll send you a recorded copy of the trade so you can learn from that. And I'll go into details about the steps that led me to go either long or short tomorrow. Okay? So let me open it up for questions. Anybody got any questions before I turn it to Cam? And what I want to do is I'll put a timer up here, if I can, put a timer. And why don't we have Cam come on in 5 minutes and get into actual platform itself. Edith, fill out the survey if you already have an account, okay? And in the morning before I start, I'll make sure you have one of the seats in this trade platform. I'm going to open it up. I'm also going to open this up. We're going to show this tape to our students and get them to be there also for the Nadex. Cam will answer all the details. Alvin, I think you need about $100 to fund a Nadex account. What, Cam, do you know what the minimum is? I thought it was $100. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but 100. But it's simple to do. He'll go through those steps. Oh, perfect. Matter of fact, what I did here at DTI, all my new employees got a Nadex account when they came on board because I wanted them to learn about trading. It was a good way to do it with real money. Had a good Christmas when they came that first year. All right, take it away, Cam, when that clock goes away. Thank you for coming today. Fill out your survey. I'll send you those bonuses. And we'll have some fun tomorrow morning at 7:30.
Okay, folks. Hi, this is Raleigh White. I am your moderator today, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a transition here. I want to thank Tom for his time with us this morning and sharing with us his thoughts and his ideas and his background as a 30-year pro trading the industries on trading binary options using Nadex. And I encourage everyone to take advantage of the special opportunity that he has presented to come watch him trade Nadex live in his trading room tomorrow. Now, Cam White's going to be joining us in just a minute or so. He is with the Trading Pub, and he works with me here on business development and on operations issues. And more specifically, when Cam joined us just a little bit under a year ago, he had a very specific assignment to, as a brand new trader, to go ahead and to open up a Nadex account, to learn about trading binary options, and to go out and to build relationships with educators and traders out there that are actively trading Nadex, and to share with folks through our educational portal techniques and tips and strategies for trading the Nadex markets. And so with that, Cam, if you're there, why don't I go ahead and turn things over to you? Do you want to do a quick little sound check to make sure that you've got mic working?
Okay, well, folks, I'm staying in and hearing me finish off this presentation on Nadex. Some of the information I'm going to give you is going to be a little bit redundant, so I'm going to move pretty quickly through that material. And then I'm going to get focused on a particular strategy that you're going to learn more about tomorrow. I'll also give you a guided tour of the Nadex platform. So we'll cover what Nadex binary options are, how the exchange works. I'll give you a quick guided tour of Nadex. I'm going to focus in a little bit closer on the DAX strategy that Tom talked about from a binary options perspective and not a spread perspective. And then I'm going to let you know about some Nadex resources. So let's get started. First of all, trading disclaimer. Trading binary options involves risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. And always remember that past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, a little bit about me. Raleigh mentioned that I'm the business development manager at Trading Pub, and I'm responsible for helping Trading Pub book present events. I also manage, edit, and review incoming content from presenters. And I am now Trading Pub's in-house Nadex guru. I'm also the author of the Probability Report, which is a monthly newsletter about upcoming Nadex events. I also feature articles and webinars of interest. And I also author a blog, which is updated almost daily, called The Inquisitive Trader, in which I regularly feature and break down a Nadex trade of the day. So you can see how one of my strategies or someone else's strategies played out in the market that day. So very quickly, what are Nadex binary options? As Tom said, they're yes or no trades. Each trade has a maximum value of $100 per contract, and that means the most you can win or lose is $100. You always know what your maximum risk and reward are before you. If you think that gold will close above 1250 at 1:30 Eastern Time, and the market determines that there's a 70% chance that this could happen, your risk would be $70 to make $30 in profit on this high probability trade. Conversely, if you felt that gold would be below 1250 at 1:30 Eastern Time, and the market determined there's a 30% chance this would happen, you would risk $30 to make $70 in profit on this lower probability trade. Nadex is a North American derivatives exchange. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of the IG Group, which is listed on the FTSE 100 index. It's headquartered in Chicago and is subject to regulatory oversight by the CFTC. When you trade with Nadex, you're not trading through a broker. Your orders are placed directly on the Nadex exchange, and your member funds are held in the United States. There is full transparency on every trade. Nadex does not take any market positions, so you are not placing an order against the house. Nadex was previously available to legal residents of the United States, Canada, and Mexico, but it is now opening up in 49 countries. So when I was looking at the map of people, if you're in Australia, if you're in Southeast Asia, if you're in Western Europe, South Africa, go to nadex.com, and if you go to where to open up an account, there'll be a drop-down list of all the countries that they're currently going to be providing service to. And that makes me really excited because that's going to bring UK also, absolutely. That makes me excited because when this is open up to the world, it's going to bring in a lot of liquidity. It's going to tighten spreads. It's going to make a lot of things more possible. It's going to be a more exciting platform to trade on. So with binary options, everything starts with your opinion on the direction of the market and where it is headed. And there are a lot of markets you can choose from. You can choose from 10 popular Forex pairs, major stock indices, commodities. And then what you want to do is pick the market you want to trade, whether it's the euro dollar or the S&P 500 or crude oil, for example, is what time frame do you want to trade that particular instrument? Do you want to do it on a weekly basis where your trade would expire at close of business on Friday or the close of the market on Friday? Do you want it to expire at the end of the day? Do you want it to expire at hourly intervals? Do you want it to expire at 20-minute or 5-minute intervals? Depending on your trading style, there is a Nadex proposition that will work in your favor, that best suits your trading style. Then you want to determine whether you want to buy or sell a contract. You want to select the number of contracts that you want to trade. And each contract is some portion of $100 that you're going to be putting at risk. Determine the price that you want to pay for that contract, whether it's a market order or a working order, and I'll explain that. Then you place your order directly on the exchange and not through a broker. You can close your position early and take profit, or you can close your position early and minimize your losses if you feel that the market is turning against you. How much does Nadex cost? First of all, you can open up a 2-week demo account for free, and you're going to want to do that if you plan to follow Tom tomorrow in live trading. I'll show you where that is on the Nadex site, and it really couldn't be easier. The minimum funding for a Nadex account is $100, and the exchange fees that they trade are 90 cents per contract per side. So if you open one contract and it expires in the money, you pay 90 cents to open it and 90 cents to close that trade for a $1.80 round trip. The maximum commission per side is $9. So if you traded 10 contracts successfully, you'd have $9 to open, $9 to close the trades for $18 round trip. If you traded 20 contracts, it would still be $18. So your maximum exchange fees are maxed out at 10 contracts. Beyond that, you're not paying extra. If a contract expires out of the money and it winds up being a loser for you, you're only charged for the exchange fee to open up the trade, but there is no settlement fee. So if I place one contract and there's a 90-cent opening fee, and that contract winds up settling out of the money, and I lose, I'm not charged the 90-cent settlement fee. Pardon me, allergies are a little bit rough around this time of year in Austin, so if my voice breaks up a little bit, I'll just try to keep on going on. Quick summary, Nadex binary options are based on a simple yes or no proposition. You have a limited trade risk. You always know what your risk and reward is before you place a trade. You can trade multiple markets and choose to trade the market you're most comfortable trading in. You have spike protection. As long as the trade is active, you cannot get stopped out. Way up, it can shoot way down, but as long as there's still time left until expiration, your position will not be threatened until you near expiration, and you will either wind up in the money or out of the money. It's a regulated exchange. It's subject to stringent oversight by the CFTC, and your funds are held in a segregated account. It's very easy to make deposits and withdrawals in Nadex. And it's finally available in 49 countries, so it's not North America's best kept secret. Okay, excuse me, I'm going to shift and we're going to move over to Nadex now. I'll give you a little guided tour of the platform. So this is what your demo account is going to look like when you open it up. It's going to be funded with $25,000 in play money, and it's super easy to navigate. On the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to have the instruments you can trade. So I can click on this little arrow here where it says indices, binaries, and you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 indices. China, the FTSE, the German DAX, the Nikkei, NASDAQ, P500, Russell 2K, and the Dow. So, and with each one of those, you could choose a particular market that you want to trade. Let's go to the US 500, which is the derivative of the E-mini S&P. And I can trade from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I can go for a daily expiration at 4:15 or weekly. Earlier on in the day, there would have been 6 to 8, 7 to 9, 8 to 10, 9 to 11 trades, typically in 2-hour intervals. When I pull up a ticket, I'm going to go for the daily on the US 500. There's a little icon to the right of it, which is a sort of chart icon. And I'm going to expand that, and this will pull up a Nadex chart. And so it defaults to a 5-minute chart. You can go up here and you can choose whatever chart that you like to trade. I'll go to a 15. There are a number of indicators that you can put on top of these. If you like using the Ichimoku cloud, personally, are the 8 exponential moving average, also known as the T-line. I like really simple, uncluttered charts. And that basically just hugs hugs the market really nicely. If the market gaps away from the T-line, it always comes back to it. So it gives me opportunities to look for pullbacks because the market always behaves predictably on that particular indicator. I like using the 50-day moving 50-period moving average. And there we go. And that's going to show me where I am relative to the market. If it's above or below the 50-day moving line, I know whether I'm in an uptrend or a downtrend. Another indicator I like to use are stochastics. I set them to 1233, showing me where if the market is overbought or oversold. MACD, tons of indicators in here that you can use. Very simple to use. So quick overview of the charts. You can take a look at it multiple time periods. You can put in a lot of your favorite indicators. You can take a look at the volume on the market and regarding where the market's going to go. And what you really want with Nadex is to have an informed opinion or an educated opinion on where you think the market is going to go relative to a strike price that Nadex provides. So you can go, I showed you the indices. There are also for the indices, you can choose binaries or like Tom was talking about, spreads. So he was talking about a strategy on the DAX and how he uses spreads for that. Here are the time periods for spreads. And you could go in there and buy or sell a spread. Commodity, food, gold, natural gas, soybeans, and silver. And the Forex pairs that are covered with Nadex are the Aussie yen, Aussie dollar, Euro pound, Euro yen, Euro dollar, pound yen, pound dollar, US CAD, US Swiss franc, US yen. So there's some really popular Forex pairs you can trade as well. And Raleigh mentions this is real. This is actually live. I can place a live trade. In fact, why don't I just do that to show you how I might address a particular trade. I'll go into the US 500 and I'll put in a daily trade and oops, I'm not going to do that. These are spreads. I don't want spreads, I want binaries. I'm going to take a look at the daily on the S&P. Okay. Now, if you look all the way over at the right-hand part of the chart, do you see those red and blue boxes up and down there? Those are the bid-ask prices on this particular market. And right, the closest strike price is 2106. If I wanted to sell the market and place a market order, I would be risking. It would cost me 42. Excuse me. It'd be 42.25, or let's say it's 40. I'd be risking $60 to make 40. And if I'm buying it, it's $48.50. So I'd be risking $48.50 and make $51. So to open up a ticket, if I wanted to, what's this market likely to do? Is the market likely to go up or down relative to that strike price? Anyone have an opinion? It's demo, so you're not going to hurt me too bad. Up, down, I don't like that. Down, up, down, up, down. Tell you what, that sounds too much like gambling. I'm going to drop down to the next price, strike price at 2103, and I'm going to buy it. And the current market for that is $68. So if I go for one contract at $68, I'm buying it. I'll get in the market right now. But I don't like personally, because I always feel like I'm getting something for someone else at a price that someone else is willing to sell. So what I do is I place a working order. let's say 68 may be fair, but I want my price to be $65. What's going to happen is I'm going to see over on the left this little grayed out box. It's a working order. In fact, when I go up to my menu bar on the top under working orders, it's going to tell me that I have an order in the queue. My price is $65. The current market is $68. I can't get a fill. And now it's starting to come down a little bit. Will it fill me? Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. But there's an hour and 58 minutes left in this trade. And I like, when I had that much time, to let the market come back to me instead of feeling the need to get away. I engage on my terms. It's better for my market. It's better for my personal trading psychology. Okay, now we've seen this thing and it may come back. What I'm going to do is, just for the sake of, for the fun of it, is I'm going to go, I'm tired of waiting. I'll put it in at 68. Let's see what happens. Okay, do you see now that the order is taken? Currently, I'm down $5.50, which is fine. I got plenty of time. And once this market starts to move north on me, then I'll start to move into positive territory. So if it continues to grind north, then I have a decision to make relative to expiration. I might decide to take profit and pick up $25 or whatever. What's the strike price? The strike price is $21.03. So at 4:15, the proposition that I've taken is that the marketplace will settle above 21.03. So I just showed you how to place a working order, and then I modified it and made it a market order. Most of the time, though, I would sit back and wait for this market to come back and fill me before it continues to grind north, if I feel that that's the direction of the marketplace. Expiration up in the upper left-hand corner is 4:15, so Eastern time. By the way, all times on Nadex are Eastern time, and when I communicate about Nadex, I live in Central time, I talk Eastern time. Okay, it really doesn't get much more simple than that. In the they have a default watch list of popular markets that are being traded. You can customize that. You can make it your own. You can always see the moving the bid and offer prices up there. What the current underlying indicative index is, offer size, bid size, and how much time is left in each one of these particular contracts that's available to trade. Before I exit out of this little guided tour, are there any questions? Can I make this show the entire, this screen show the entire screen? I am not sure. Linda asked, what is liquidity on these markets? Depends on the instrument being traded. I can tell you with 49 countries coming in that a lot of these particular instruments are going to be more heavily populated and there'll be better liquidity. Some are less liquid than others. Are the charts in real time or is it a lag? I'm telling you it's really, really close. I've run this with Thinkorswim on one screen and Nadex, they run pretty much tick for tick. Linda asked if you can trade at night. Yes, you can with the Forex pairs, and some of the indices you can trade after 6 o'clock at night for the following day. I've heard that most binary options brokers are scam and dishonest brokers. I had an account with XP Market. Okay, there are a lot of binary brokers, especially overseas, that are not scrupulous. They are not regulated. And if you trade with them, you're trading at your own risk. Nadex is U.S. federally regulated. They have to adhere to some very, very stringent compliance. And My experience working with them has been nothing short of excellent. So one of the reasons why I'm really excited that Nadex is opening up in 49 countries is that people that are actually trading this vehicle, which I think is a wonderful vehicle to trade, especially if you like to manage your risk, you don't have to worry about trading with a particular entity that is stacked against you. They're betting on you losing. A lot of those overseas outfits, you know, once you place a trade, you can't exit it, and you can only enter on their terms. With Nadex, you have a lot of flexibility to get in a trade, out of a trade, and you can dictate it on your terms. And it's federally regulated, and your accounts are on a segregated account. It's just a much better way to trade. If I sound a little passionate about that, it's because I've heard way too many stories from people that have been burned by unscrupulous offshore binary outfits. Okay, I'm going to exit out of Nadex and move on with my, my presentation. Oops. Okay, a couple Nadex resources. Nadex's website. I'm going to log on to this really quickly, and I'm going to show you a couple of things, especially for your international folks. Open an account for free. When this page opens up, where it says grab your information, step 1, you will see under country a drop-down list of all the countries: Canada, Cyprus, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Gibraltar, Greece, Guernsey, Hong Kong, Isle of Man, Israel, South Africa, Norway, Philippines, Spain, UK. These are all the countries that they are set up to do business in. And I imagine there's going to be this all happened, by the way, over the past couple of days. So this is very new, very exciting news. I haven't even seen an official press release from Nadex in this regard. There's a ton of educational resources on Nadex that you can come up to speed with if you wish. Trading webinars, handbooks, white papers. Okay. So that's a little overview. Oh, and on the demo side, because if you're going to follow Tom tomorrow, you're going to want the demo. You go to where it says demo, and it couldn't be easier. You create a demo name, first name, last name, phone, email address, you're done. You're funded with a 2-week demo account with $25,000 in play money. And from there, my recommendation is take a strategy, whether it's Tom's or whether it's the strategy I'm going to show you, practice it in demo, log your results, and see how you do. So that's the Nadex website. Other resources on tradingpub.com. On tradingpub.com, I mentioned that I do a trade of the day, and that's also posted up on TradingPub. So if you go down to free education, Nadex, you'll see Nadex trade of the day, sausage and sushi. That's an evening Asian session for the euro yen. The carrot trade is a lunchtime trade on the US indices. And when I talk about breaking down the description of the trade, the rules of the trade, and then I break down how that particular trade played out. So you can walk along, you can see where the trade started, where it ended, what I was looking for. I put in notes about economic news that might have affected the market, and how it actually closed relative to where I bought the market. So you can kind of just play along and watch that strategy. I put those out almost daily. Not just my strategies, but I am very good friends with some seasoned Nadex traders, and whenever they come across something that I find a particular interest that I test, I might break down one of their strategies and show how that played out. And it could be trading Nadex off natural gas news. And then finally, I put out the probability report newsletter that goes out once a month. And I have a listing of all Nadex-sponsored educational webinars coming up this month. One that was just yesterday on Nadex spreads, directional reversals, scalping trading strategies, live trading and analysis. You can actually follow people. And these are all hosted by Nadex. I put in an article of the month that I find and a webinar of the month that will break down a specific strategy. Okay, my personal trading plan, when I started with Nadex, I opened up a small account. I originally funded it with less than $2,000, and I had a daily trading goal of making $50 in profits. For my trading style, I never risk more than 5% of my account balance on any. And whenever I find out about a new strategy, I always run it at least 20 times in demo before I go live with my money on it. And my reason for doing that is I want to make sure that I can log my results, I can see what my win rate is, what my average risk to reward is, what my P&L is. I want really, really hard concrete data on that plan before I trade it or before I talk about it. So that's just me, and it's actually served me pretty well. When I trade Nadex, I want the probability, and what that also gives me is what the likely probability of success is going to be. So the probability of success on any Nadex trading plan must be greater than my risk and reward per trade. So I don't have a problem risking $80 to make $20 as long as my probability of success is 85% or greater statistically. And in my mind, it has to be a 110% winner. I need to be so confident about the success of that trade if I'm going to risk 80. If I'm risking 70, it has to have an 80% or greater chance of success. If it's $60, I want a 70% or greater chance of success. And if it's 50 or lower, I want a 60% greater chance of success, and so on. As long as I have that balance, you're likely going to see your account incrementally grow. And that's the very basic part of my trading plan. I like to optimize my risk to reward. In most cases, as I mentioned earlier, I don't find market orders to be much fun because I'm buying the price that someone is willing to sell something to me. I would rather dictate my own price and let the market come to me. I just feel better when that happens. With Nadex, because you're dealing with something that has an expiration period on it, time and decay can affect the price of a contract. The closer you are to expiration, the less attractive propositions are going to become, particularly if they are at or in the money. If you are already in the market, that can work in your favor because your proposition may become more attractive. The further out you are away from expiration, the more wiggle room there is to adjust your risk and reward. So basically what it comes down to when I trade Nadex, I like to engage the market on my terms and not somebody else's terms, because at the end of the day, all Nadex is doing is facilitating a trade between my opinion about the direction of the market and someone who has an equal or an opposite opinion of the market. And all Nadex collects out of this is the settlement fees that I mentioned earlier, 90 cents per contract per side. Okay, market orders versus working orders. I showed you that. My ticket on the left is a market order for a contract on the DAX, which expires in 2 hours and 40 minutes. The ticket has the bid and the offer price on it. If I wanted to jump in the market and take what the market was willing to give me, I'd have to pay $61.50 for that, which would mean my max loss would be $61.50, $38.50. Since there's 2 hours and 40 minutes left in that trade, I opted to flip the script. I manually changed $61.50 to $40 and entered a working order so that my max loss would be $40 and my max profit would be $60, and let the market come back to me and fill me. And, you know, especially in choppy markets, you'd be surprised how often you can actually get an order on your terms. Okay, Tom talked about the 6 a.m. Central Time DAX strategy, and I mentioned earlier that since Nadex all times posted are Eastern Time, I just basically translated to the 7 a.m. strategy. And I used to call it the 7 to 9 a.m. Germany 30 DAX strategy. That's a mouthful. This is at Central Time. It's 6 to 8 in the morning. Got a cup of coffee. It's the German market. I'm calling it the strudel strategy. And I have a nice little picture of a strudel and a cup of coffee. I want to thank Tom for coming up with the observation. I actually picked up on this several months ago, actually in around August last year. I sat in on one of his webinars, and he was talking about how the 7 a.m. Eastern Time hourly candlestick had an influence on the day. And that to me was a binary proposition. So I back-tested what he had mentioned, and sure enough, it happened with amazing consistency. So I want to thank him for coming up with this particular observation, because it has really, really helped me with my trading consistency. And what you want to do is you want to check the 7 a.m. Eastern Time on the DAX market in Nadex, and know that the 7 a.m. direct hourly bar is going to be a pivotal point that influences the 8 a.m. hourly bar. And I'll talk to you about my trade rules here in just a second. Then I place a short-term Nadex trade from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So here's how I set up for this thing. I do a little prep work. I'm usually at my computer at around 6:45. I check the economic calendar. I like investing.com, others like Forex Factory, and I take a look to see if there's any economic news that overnight that has affected the German markets, and to see if there's any economic news affecting the U.S. markets between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. East Coast time. Oftentimes, the U.S. releases reports at 8:30, and I just basically advise myself and others to stay cautious around that particular time window. I check the daily, hourly, 50 charts of the DAX. Is the general trend moving up or down? So I look at it across multiple time frames. Then the indicators I like to use on a 15-minute chart are the T-line. That's the 8 exponential moving average. I use the 50-period simple moving average. I use the slow stochastic oscillator set at 1233. And on this particular strategy, I'll switch to the 5-minute charts and pull up the Ichimoku cloud. And that's going to give me a bias as to whether the market is likely to go bullish or bearish. So, a couple of things about the Germany 30 index, or the DAX index on Nadex. Nadex sets their strike prices, the price that you can trade off of, at 20-tick intervals. For this strategy, you want to choose the 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time they offer you. And this is where the whole strategy, this is the crux of the whole strategy when it deals with binary options. It's all about patience. What you want to do is you want to watch the 7 a.m. hourly candlestick to fully develop. Once you're convinced that it is bullish, then you want to buy the DAX, selecting the first Nadex strike price below the 7 a.m. opening price. If the 7 a.m. hourly candlestick, you're convinced it's bearish, then you want to sell that market, selecting the first Nadex strike price above the opening 7 a.m. hourly candlestick. Then you can place an order that best suits your risk reward. If you place a market order, you're going to be in the money or deep in the money. You're going to be, you may be risking $70 to make 30, 80 to make 20. I personally like to place a working order, and I'll, based upon where the strike is located, I like to risk 50 to make 50. And if the market starts to run away from me, I might accept 60 to risk 40 or up to 70. I rarely go to the 80 category because it's just not worth it for me. And that's it. You can either take a market order or you can wait to be filled. So here are 4 consecutive days of the strudel strategy. I'm going to move right to left. You'll see where the little arrow is. It's pointing to a 7 a.m. candlestick. If you sold that market behind the opening price, the 8 a.m. You can see how the 7 a.m. candlestick influences the 8. Going to the day previous, we have a bullish candlestick and the 8-1 follows it. The day before that, you have a bearish candlestick and the next candlestick is a doji, never comes up to threaten the opening price. That's good. And the day before that, you have a bullish candlestick followed by a bullish candlestick. 7 a.m. controls the 8, but not the 9. There's a reversal. So you're dealing with a tight time period, and if you backtest this, all you have to do is pull up an hourly chart and go back for the last 20 or 30 days, count the number of times that happens. Now sometimes you're going to notice that, well, the 7 a.m. hourly candlestick was bullish, but the 8-1 closed below the Nadex opening price, the 7 a.m. opening price. That had to be a loser. Not necessarily, because I chose to buy at the nearest strike price below the 7 a.m. hourly candlestick, and that buys me enough cushion to keep that trade from being threatened. It is highly, highly consistent, this particular strategy. Exceptions to the rule. If you're in a really hard downtrend and you have this little green candlestick, that's a 7 a.m. bullish candlestick, you're kind of getting in the way of a moving bus. So on this particular example, this blue line is the 8 exponential moving average. I love that indicator. The market came down hard, gapped away from the T-line, and then it retraced back to the T-line. In this particular example, the 7 a.m. Hourly candlestick was just getting back to the T-line before the market continued on its downward path. So you want to be aware of that, but and I am aware of it, but this doesn't happen very often. Most of the time, just the price action rules of this particular strategy trump everything. But if I'm seeing that hard a move with really aggressive bearish candlesticks and a little retracement back to the T-line, I exercise. Maybe it's just not a day to trade that particular strategy. Okay, I'm going to take a look at today's strudel. What happened? By the way, Tom was talking about spreads. It was a great day for a spread on that strategy. I couldn't get any action, so that's okay. I've got a split screen here. The left screen is an hourly view of the German DAX market. The right chart is a 15-minute view of the same market. So this candlestick right here where I have the arrow, there's the 7 a.m. candlestick, and there's the 8. It finished like at a doji, but there was a lot of price action movement on that 8 a.m. It basically ran away from me because my rules are, okay, if this is bearish, then I want to buy from the first strike price behind the opening price. You see how much cushion there is there? There's too much distance between where the market was and where 11,429 was for me to get a risk-reward proposition that I wanted. So, today I let it go from a binary option standpoint. From Tom's perspective, if I had run a spread on this, it would have run long and hard on me. Wow. Yeah, that would have been some serious money. So Tom's spread strategy he's going to be talking about tomorrow was a serious winner in today's example. I was trading a binary, and I didn't get what I wanted. I got no fill. And so that just shows you with this particular strategy, the rules worked, but do you want to trade a binary or do you want to trade a spread on this particular day? Okay, I mentioned that I like to do a lot of testing, so I'm going to give you some test results. When I first found out about this strategy, I mentioned it was August, and I decided to run a test that ran 2 months. I placed 40 trades in demo before I went live or even talked about this strategy much. All trades were taken in my demo account. They were all traded between the 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. time frame, and I had rules that I strictly adhered to. My risk and reward on every trade was 1-to-1, risking 50 to make 50. My testing assumed that I open up in a Nadex account with a $500 opening balance, risking $50 per trade. I did not exit any trades early. I held every trade to expiration. So let's see how we did. Okay, this is the first 10-day period. This is a 10-day block of trades. I've got 2 losses and 8 wins, so I'm up $300. Risking 50 to make 50. Second 10 days. Oops. Hang on a second. I'm going to go to full screen on this. There we go. Second 10 days. I've got 1 loss and 9 wins. I'm up $400. Third 10 days. Losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins and 2 no-fills. Days where I just, like today, where I couldn't catch the market. Up 200. And then the final period, I had 3 losses, 6 wins, and 1 no-fill for 150. When you add it all together, I completed 40 trades in demo. Each of them were taken between 7 and 9. Of those trades, 29 were successful, yielding $1,450 in profits for a 72.5% win rate. I had 8 unsuccessful trades, which cost me $400. I had 3 no-fills, which were no-fills, cost me nothing. My net profit was $1,000, $1,050, and if I added it to my $500 opening balance, that would have given me $1,550, less $59.40 in exchange fees. So my account would have grown from $500 to $1,490.60, yielding almost a 200% return in 2 months, using a risk to reward of 1-to-1, and no trades were exited early. So that was during that period. There wasn't a whole lot of volatility in the market. Lately, I'm seeing some more no-fills, like today, using the binary approach. But the markets have been kind of crazy. But I'm still not losing very much. I either win or I get a no-fill, and I'm okay with either outcome. So just to summarize the strudel strategy, it's 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Nadex time. If the 7 a.m. hourly candlestick is bullish, you buy below the opening price of the 7 a.m. hourly candlestick. If it's bearish, you sell above the the 7 a.m. opening hourly candlestick. Place an order that best suits your risk-reward criteria, and that's it. You're either in the market or you place a working order and you wait to get it filled. In summary, Nadex can give you a nice trading edge. You have if you have high probability strategies such as this, Nadex can provide a managed risk vehicle to help you improve trading consistency. You have a defined risk. You always know what your maximum profit or loss can be. You can see your trades through to expiration, or you can get out early. You have a low capital investment. You can open it for as little as $100. By the way, if you open up your account for $100 and you place 1 trade, you can call up Nadex and have your demo period extended out for a year. So you can keep practicing before you're ready to really trade live. You can't get stopped out as long as the trade is active. And finally, it's very, very simple to use. This doesn't take a lot to learn how to work with Nadex. You can download your free Nadex demo, just going up there with your name, telephone number, and email address. You can study it for 2 weeks. You can trade with Tom tomorrow. And these are just great strategies. You can go to tradingpub.com. You can follow some of my other strategies if this doesn't sing to you. And Jana's going to provide a couple links to you. One is how to sign up for the free Nadex library that we provide at Trading Pub. There'll also be a link on how to download a 2-week demo of Nadex today. And then finally, don't forget, Tom Busby is going to be live trading Nadex tomorrow. So make sure to follow him, and you can see how maybe I should have taken that spread trade today instead of trading a binary. Also, Trading Pub is in the business of providing free education. That's what we're all about. We have a Facebook page. Look us up and like us if you do Facebook. On Twitter, we are at Trading Pub. The trades of the day that I mentioned, Jana puts them out there and links to them, so you can look at them at your convenience. And finally, if you really like it, sings to you, share it, favorite, like it, or retweet it with your friends. And with that, questions? Was this presentation informative? Yes, no? Can anyone hear me? Does this sound,
Cam,
does
hi, it's
Nadex?
Raleigh here. It's Raleigh. I just wanted to say while you were talking, there were a lot of great comments that came up through the room, and I know that a number of the members were bouncing back and forth a little bit, answering some questions from others. That's the nice thing about a collaborative room. But there are a couple of things that I just would like to re-emphasize for everybody that here. There is a big difference between binary options that are being traded off exchange and what happens with Nadex. Nadex is an exchange. It is not a broker. It never takes a position against you. It only basically makes money off of a small transaction fee per transaction processed, like any other exchange. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, it used to only be available in North America. And as Cam mentioned, over the past couple of days, there are now 49 countries where if you reside in those countries, you can sign up and trade on Nadex. And what's interesting here is you're not going through a broker, you are actually trading right on the exchange itself. So when it comes, there's a lot of questions about money. You know, people saying, hey, I went with one of these binary, you know, brokerage fees. I gave them my $200 or my $500 and I never got it back. That's not the case when you're dealing with the Nadex exchange whatsoever. You have the free ability to not only put money in, but to take money out through that process. The other thing that I think that's important that I want to make sure everybody understands is that we are not suggesting or proposing that any of you stop whatever trading you're currently doing. We're just trying to make people aware that there is a new way to trade the market, a relatively new way, and this might be a way to diversify how you trade. For example, I am an active day trader of the futures markets, and I am very, very intrigued at this point in time in also placing trades in Nadex as a hedged position. I really, for those of us that are futures traders, you know that we can find ourselves in a trade, let's say a trending trade, only to have a significant retracement hit us and potentially knock us out on a stop loss. That same trade, if it's placed as a binary option trade through Nadex, I'm active in the trade until the point of expiration, and I always have the opportunity, and this was intriguing to me, to exit out of a trade if I wanted to possibly limit my loss, or let's say, for example, I decided to take profits because I was no longer sure I would be in the money at expiration. These are some things, you know, that are extremely important. As far as fees are concerned, folks, 90 cents per side round trip. So for a single lot, $1.80 all in is what the exchange will make on this. And as Cam mentioned, that's capped at 10 trades. So for example, if you were trading with 10 lots, it would be $9 per side or $18 round trip. But if you were to trade 12, 13, 14, 20 lots, the commission rate would still only be $9 per side or $18 round trip. So once again, we're not here to talk anybody into anything. We're just here to provide education. We're sharing with you what we know about things. Tom has done a good job of leading things off. Cam has. A lot of Forex traders here in the room are wondering about, well, how does this apply to Forex? Well, you know, I know a number of people that actively trade Forex, either through an exchange or over the counter, and also trade Nadex currency pairs, because once again, they like to be able to hedge their positions. And the interesting thing is when you're looking at currency pairs, Nadex offers 20-minute expirations for currency pairs. So things used to be weekly, then they were daily, and then they were every couple of hours, but there's 20-minute expiration time frames associated with currency pairs.
Hello, Raleigh?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, I want to clarify something. Nadex offers actually 5-minute expirations on 4 currency pairs. Their 20-minute binary options are available for U.S. indices.
Oh, even better yet. And that's something that happened over the past several months in return for what people were asking for. So, and from that standpoint, there are a number of folks out there, and Cam has alluded to that actively trade Forex and had developed strategies, you know, for trading Nadex based on their Forex strategy. So I thought I would just jump in and just maybe, Cam, answer some of the questions that were coming in because I was writing them down, and just to make sure that everybody fully understood our position, and to also make you just well aware of the fact, as with anything else, we recommend that if you're interested in something, several people here were talking about, you know, too much information, paralysis, it's a new instrument, etc. Well, you know what? The world is changing. Knowledge is a good thing, and I think from our perspective, we're sharing new ideas, but we do stand firmly behind one thing, and that is this. You know, trust but verify was mentioned. Always explore something, test it for yourself, see if it makes sense before you risk a single penny of capital on that. So with that, let me just turn things back over to Cam so that he might be able to answer some of the specific questions that came up on the DAX strategy.
Okay, so there were a couple more questions about the DAX strategy. When you're selecting the 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. time period, you're dealing with 2 hours. A trade that opens at 7 a.m. and expires at 9 a.m. So you're dealing with 2 hourly candlesticks. So on that particular trade, you just need to be prepared to watch the market and watch the 7 a.m. hourly candlestick develop. And once you're convinced that that particular candlestick is bullish or bearish, then you can make your decision to buy or sell. And I call those triggered events. The minute you see it happening, you know where to go, and your likelihood of success is very high, as my results, testing results, bore out. Other questions?
Yeah, Cam, there's another question that popped up, and some folks are wondering about how's that S&P 500 trade going that you entered into?
Oh, I killed it. I just kind of got in and got out of it. I wasted some demo money. I don't know. Let me see. Maybe I didn't. I usually do that because I hate walking away from a trade.
Sure.
Give me 2 seconds on that. Oh, Nadex, where are you?
Cam's going to bring that back
I'm
up.
down $8.75. Darn it. Let's see where we are. Let me pull up this. Okay. Well, you know, I'm down 875, but the market's still trading at, the market right now is down 675. But right now, if that thing expired where it is right now, I would be to the good. I'd be in the money. So this little line where 2103 is, the market just needs to finish above that line for the contract that I bought. So
Okay.
I'm still looking good. Keep on grinding north. Wow,
so at this point in time, just to refresh, Cam, why don't you just walk through this trade again? What was the strike price, And where does it have
Strike
to,
price?
what's the expiration time, and where does the price have to be for you to be in the money, and how much money would you make per contract traded?
Oh, let's see. I think I bought this somewhere like around 60. So my risk was 60. My maximum profit is 40. Um, this red line right here, that's the finish line. Currently, we're coming close to 3 o'clock Eastern time. So I have exactly an hour and 19 minutes left in this trade. I need this trade just to sort of either stay where it is and go sideways, grind a little bit north would make me happy, but it needs to ultimately exit above 2103, and currently it's at 2104.5.
Okay. So if at 4:15 it closes above 2103, you will have made, Cam, what is that, $40 per contract traded? Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
And if
Now,
it were to close
just to let you
below
know, if
that,
this thing, I would make nothing. Now, if this market here started to dive on me and move down below the 2103 thing, and I felt nervous, like the market couldn't recover, I could just close it and exit for maybe a $20 loss, maybe a $30 loss instead of the full 60. And conversely, if this market starts moving up, I was down 650, now I'm down 450. It moves up a few more ticks, 225. This thing is going to turn from red to blue, show me that I'm profitable. And if it continues, it's 25 cents now. So if this continues to grind north, I can always take profit early or let it ride until expiration.
so questions come in
So,
here as to what the risk to reward ratio is on this. I mean, it really depends on the individual trade that you enter into as to what the probabilities are. But in this particular case, there's a 60% chance that this trade is going to close in the money. So $60 is being risked to make $40 is the way, you know, I would read the current risk to reward ratio on this particular trade, which Cam entered live just to demonstrate how you pull up a ticket, how you place an order, how quickly it is filled, and how it is executed. This is not following a particular strategy other than to demonstrate, you know, placing a trade.
oh yeah, please bear in mind that I did absolutely zero technical analysis on this. I pulled it
I
up,
know.
I pulled the trigger, and I placed a trade. So I didn't have any rules in this trade other than to demonstrate how to place a trade on the Nadex platform. And the question is, how do you determine risk? It's what you want it to be. It's what your risk reward strategy is. On this particular trade right now, if I wanted to buy it, if I wanted to buy 2103 right now, I'd have to buy it for $72, which would mean I'd be risking $72 to make $28. And if I feel really strong about that proposition based upon where I think the market is going, you know what? Might not be bad. But, you know, that all depends on where. When I started trading Nadex, I was always, it has to be 50-50 or better. I can't make myself do it. Well, since then, I've gotten to know a bunch of traders that trade with an amazingly high success rate, like well above 80%, that have no problem risking 70 to make 30, and they make it all day long, and their accounts just continue to grow and continue to grow. And they're not just, you know, they're not risking 70 to make 30. They're doing that times 5 contracts, times 10 contracts. So just when we're showing you how to do things within less than $100, you can always adjust the number of contracts you trade. Would you talk about
All
the
right,
2-minute
Cam.
blackout period? Tim asked about that. At the end of this trade, in the final 2 minutes, there's going to be a 2-minute blackout period where you cannot buy or sell. All trades are taken off. And I presume that's because Nadex is trying to put the lid on any last-minute market manipulation. That's the only reason why I can understand the 2-minute blackout period.